Before they called her a witch, before they called her dangerous, before they literally lit a fire upon her, she was simply a young woman walking on the red earth of Congo. Today, we share the story of a remarkable ancestor from the Bakongo ethnic group, Kimpa Vita, also known as Donna Beatrice Kimpa Vita, a young woman whose courage, spiritual vision, and resistance echo across centuries of Congo's history. The morning mist still clung to the hills as she stood barefoot near the ruins of Mbanza Congo that they called Sao Salvador. The capital was broken, church walls cracked, royal authority divided, families scattered by war and betrayal, recent civil war. Yet she listened quietly as if the land itself was speaking back to her. Kimpa Vita did not raise her voice often. She did not need to. As a spirit medium, she saw more than she said. She heard more than what others could. The ancestors murmuring beneath her prayers spoken in foreign tongue. The spirit of Congo refusing to die inside borrowed religion. She said Saint Anthony walked with her. Yes, but so did her ancestors. So did kings, queens, mothers, fathers, children lost to chaos. People came to her. They started believing in her, not because she demanded power, but because truth gathered around her. She moved through villages like a whisper that became a wind, challenging priests, unsettling chiefs, reminding the local people that Jesus did not belong to Europe. If there was a Jesus, he was African from the Congo, and that Congo was not abandoned by God or by his ancestors. She moved gently, she seemed gentle, but yet she was powerfully strong. She had such a strong spirit. People flocked to her to hear what she had to say, to hear the messages from Spirit. She wasn't strong or dangerous because she carried weapons, but because she was speaking the words of the ancestors. They were speaking through her. And in a world built on forgetting, the ancestors' memory can cause discomfort. It can cause rebellion. Kimpa Vita's story has been well documented. It actually was documented a lot by the Roman Catholic priests that hated her. So it's interesting because of their notes and the things that they wrote down about her, we have a good bit of history. But this particular image is a sketch by one of the Catholic priests who was a part of her demise or supported it. And he doesn't seem like he had very good sketching skills. I don't imagine her to look like that. But here is a more modern image, re-sketched of what she possibly looked like. So that is a good thing to take note of, because with his unskilled sketch, at least we were able to get somewhat of an image of what she looks like or what she looked like. So I'm going to jump a little bit to the end to let you all know what happened to her, and go into more details of her story from there. So Kimpa Vita was a young woman who started a whole movement in Congo, in the Angola region, and she was Bakongo. She started this movement and she caused this uproar in politics. But she has had a strong spiritual basis as well for her movement. And she eventually was executed by being set on fire. So that's how much she was wanted to be taken out of this scenario of everything that was going on. So she was very young. She was executed at the age of 22. So we're going to go into her story now, more details. Now, Kimpa Vita, she came from a noble family, and it's noted that she came from a noble family, but she also was initiated into one of Congo's main secret societies, per se, or society, mystery school. They really were just schools, but the Catholic priests saw them as secret societies. That's how this secret society thing came up, because of the natural culture of African people and how they operated, the initiations that they did. The priests formulated that as to being a secret society, but they were mystery schools, and they were to help the people of the community work together and to develop the community. So these were already established, but she was initiated into a society called Kimpasi. Now, again, she died very young, so I haven't been able to find out at what age she was initiated into the Kimpasi society. But in order to get initiated into these societies, it also was a sign of her being of a noble family, because you had to have a certain amount of money to afford the things that was needed for these schools. So her family was among the elite. Now, at this time, Kimpa Vita was born in 1684. So during this time, up until the time she was executed, Congo was being plagued with civil war. They had the slave trade going on very strongly. I recently did a video on Nganga Zumba, who also his family came from the area that Kimpa Vita's family came from prior to her being born, but around the same time. And so the Congo was going through a lot of issues at the time. So around 1704, when Kimpa Vita was about 20 years old, she fell into a sickness. Now, this was a life-threatening sickness. I could not find like what type of sickness it was. Whatever it was, she was on her deathbed. And it said that she was out of it for 3 days. Basically, she almost died, and she was barely hanging on to her life for 3 days. When she came up out of this terminal situation, when she came out of it with messages from spirit. Now, again, to backtrack a tad bit, she's also initiated into a society. She was known to be a spirit medium. So prior to this life-threatening situation that happened to her, she was a medium. So this took her even deeper into the spiritual realm. When she comes out of this state, she has messages from spirit. Now, her messages make so much sense. It all, it makes sense when you look at it from a perspective that we can look at it from today. Her messages from spirit was basically that the Congo needs to come up under one rule in the civil war. And as far as spirituality, if there is saints, if there is a Jesus, then these people are black. And if you're going to practice Catholicism, if you're going to practice this religion, it's to be practiced with images of us, with the origin of it being about us meaning African people. This was her message from Spirit. Now, the only spinoff to this, which was a question, is that she felt that she had these visions and these messages to come to her from Saint Anthony. Saint Anthony is actually a Catholic saint that is known for creating miracles, and he's a very popular saint, and he's known for helping the poor. So it kind of makes sense that she felt a connection to that particular saint, because I'm sure there was destitution that she saw a lot in her environment, and things going on. And at the time, a miracle was needed in many people's perspective, probably. So it made sense to me why I feel like she was connected or felt connected to Saint Anthony. But basically, she felt led to bring this message and take this message to the royal leaders at the time. For me, I would interpret it as the messages came from her ancestors, her spirit guides. Her spirit guide could very well be Saint Anthony. So who's to say the fact? Who's to say whether that is truth or not? That is her truth. So her truth was she felt like it came from Saint Anthony. So she proceeds forward with strength and confidence in her mission, and she proceeds to go and see the two people at the time who were rivals for the throne of the Kingdom of Kongo. One was King Pedro IV, which he did become king, and his actual Congo name is Insamu A Mvimba. And his rival's name is Jawu II, which his Congo name is Inzunzi A Intamba. So she actually goes to meet with both of them, which is interesting. And again, her message is basically, we should come together. The people of the Congo need to come together under one rule, one king, and to bring the capital back to Mbanza Congo in Angola. She also, of course, speaks about the spiritual aspect of things. Now, on her way to going to visit the first royal leader in Samu, she is going through, of course, she's going through the country, she's going through the city, the towns, wherever, from whatever journey it took for her to get from where she was to where he was. And it said that on her way, she was destroying images of Catholic saints or saints that were not in the image of African people. She also destroyed Nkisi that she felt were containing evil spirits. Now, she is not said that she destroyed all Nkisi. She destroyed Nkisi that she felt were embodying evil spirits. So she's doing this and she's moving forward. She's gaining followers, which to me is very, very interesting. She's gaining followers because now we have social media, we have all these platforms for people to gain followers. And to me, for a person centuries ago to gain the number of followers that she did is very significant. So people are believing in what she's saying and they're supporting it. And I feel like the country, the kingdom was at such a weak point of being in wars and battles and slave trade and all these things. People were heavy. So they were looking for some light. And she was that light, and she was attracting people left and right, and people were believing in what she had to say. Her movement even had a name, or her society. It was called the Antonians. They had their own prayer that she modified. And she was just building up people. She was building up people. She even gained followers who were of the elite status, noble people, people who were part of royal families. And once she gained the opportunity to speak to King Insamu, she told him what she felt. I'm assuming that he listened, but did not do anything about it. So she moves on to the next person, who happens to be his rival, in Zuzi, and she gives him the same message. He doesn't take it seriously, apparently, either. So she returns back to where she was at the area that they called the capital, or that she felt that needed to be the capital again. And during this time, she's also preaching, as Catholics would, the virtue and the energy of being chaste, chastity. She's preaching and she's giving the people this as foundational things, as Catholics would. But it's said that she got pregnant multiple times. Now, I question that, because I'm like, how do we know that she got pregnant multiple times? Because resources are saying that she was pregnant and she aborted two babies, or two pregnancies. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do know that she eventually does get pregnant and keeps the baby, has the baby, delivers the baby. Now, when she settles in wherever she's at, she gains a follower and an alliance with someone who is apparently a former subordinate of the first king in Samu, that they call King Pedro the Fourth. He is a former insubordinate, and apparently he's an enemy at this time. So she gains an alliance with him, and that is what it seems to me that triggers this whole attack on her and execution. But one thing I forgot to mention, which is actually very, very important, is that when she did go see the first king, he actually had the Catholic priests around him that did not like her, and they were basically a part of his council. Now, they didn't like her because, of course, she was preaching against the Catholic Church in saying that if there were saints, the saints were African, and these are the people that we should be venerating. These are the energies that we should be venerating. She was going against the Catholic Church. So they didn't like her. There was one particular priest his name was Bernardo de Gallo, and he was saying that Kimpa Vita was possessed by the devil. So of course, in the church, anything that goes against what they want people to know, they're gonna say this person or this thing is demonic. So he was basically saying that she was possessed by the devil, and he couldn't stand her, to make a long story short. So he was a person who had the ear of the first royal leader, the one who ended up being king, that they call King Pedro the Fourth, and his Congo name being in Samu. He had the ear of this particular royal leader, and so he's pushing this whole agenda. Now, moving back to when she has gained an alliance with the first royal leader's enemy, now they're after her. So they're looking for her. King Insamu, or Pedro the Fourth, his forces, his people find Kimpa Vita hiding, because she knows that they're looking for her at this point. They find her hiding, and they arrest her and take her child, because she's already given birth, and I'm assuming anybody else who was with her at the time. So they take her back to the royal leader, and they say, she was tried, and she was accused of being a heretic, which means someone who's speaking against the church. as well as being a witch. This is what they tried her for. And she was tried, she was executed. By this time, she's around 22. So when she first has this vision and this life-threatening situation, she's 20 years old. So in a span of 2 years, all this has happened. So they try her and they decide to execute her by fire. They burn her at the stake, per se. And of course, these Catholic priests are the ones who push this entire agenda. Though the Portuguese, the church, did not technically execute her, she was actually executed by her own people. They still pushed the agenda because they did not like her. They did not like that she was going against the church. She was going against what all the missionaries was doing there in the first place, which was to brainwash these African people. So she was bringing her people back, and so they hated that. So they pushed that whole agenda. Now, after she's executed, they document and say that the baby was taken and raised by the priest, but I doubt that as well. It's a possibility. But the whole point of understanding her story is to see that she had these spiritual talents, she had spiritual gifts. She ended up sparking a lot of things and creating an entire movement. She actually, another thing that I left out is that during the time of her height, during her movement, she would have these reenactments of where she would reenact dying and being resurrected every Friday and Saturday. So she had all this amazing, powerful following, and at such a young age. And to this day, Kimpa Vita is venerated among many people who practice traditional Kongo spirituality, among people who practice a specific tradition called Ngunza, and the ones that believe in venerating the ancestors. So she has been deified because many of them, if you come into a temple, a Congolese temple, for the Bakongo people, many of the Bakongo people and the people who practice these traditions, you will see on their altars or in their sacred spaces that they'll have a picture of Kimpa Vita. So they venerate her among other very significant other ancestors. So she's important still until this day. She's still important. Also, now this is a folk narrative, not sure if this is true, but later years there was a rebellion that occurred in South Carolina on the American soil, and many of the people that were a part of this slave rebellion in South Carolina, it is said that they were Antonians as well, like they were followers and believers of this movement that Kimpa Vita started. Now, this is not a fact, but it is possible for this to be the case. So her energy, her words, her message, her movement reigned for a long time. And still to this day, as I said, she is still being venerated. So I give you this story so you can take it if you are a practitioner of a Congo-based spiritual system, to understand more about these traditional leaders and ancestors that connect with us in our lineage. And if you are a person who just connects their heritage, their ancestral heritage, back to the Congo regions, this may resonate with you too. I also want people to know that I am not a historian. I do not proclaim to be. I am a spiritual and traditional royal leader. I'm giving this message for people to bring into their understanding in their work, if they practice ancestral veneration, if they want to know more about Congo spiritual leaders, anything of that matter. I do encourage people to do their own research, do your own work, Leave messages and comments. Let me know what you think. If you have more to add to this story, let me know. I'm open to hearing about it. And I do want to mention a couple of things for clarity. One, when I use the word Congo, I am often referring to the broader Congo Basin region, not the modern day country Congo, because we have 4 different countries now that at one time was not divided by colonization. So you have Angola, Congo, or slash Republic of Congo. Then you have DRC, which is the Democratic Republic of Congo, and you have Gabon. Those 4 countries really are made up of multiple kingdoms, ethnic groups that stretched across all that entire area. So it wasn't divided up then. And really, the Bantu people in general stretched even further beyond that. But that's the core area, the Congo Basin area. So when I'm speaking in this story about the Congo, I'm not talking about the modern day country Congo. And then Kimpa Vita's story occurred in what is known now as modern day Angola, that area. That's that one thing. And then the second thing that I would like to mention is that for people who want to work with Kimpa Vita, who are spiritualists, who may be interested in invoking her, doing ancestral veneration to work with her to bring, to support their lives, I advise for people to be experienced or have a spiritual mentor, godparent, an elder that is aware, that is experienced as well, that knows what they're doing so that they can support you in some type of way. So if you fall in that category, there are some key principles and areas that I would say, this is not documented anywhere, but in my opinion, as a spiritual leader, I think Kimpa Vita is good to support people in areas like spiritual awakening and prophetic calling, speaking your truth, rising as authority, unity, community healing, because she was an Nganga, any type of women's leadership and women's empowerment, protection, fulfilling your destiny, justice, rising or being a martyr in some form or fashion, keeping your faith, and connection in general to the ancestral Bakongo lineage. So there are many people who don't practice traditional African spirituality, but yet they may be Catholic in some form or fashion, or maybe in Santeria, oftentimes people in these traditions work with the saints specifically for certain things, and that's how I see Kimpa Vita as well. So there you have it. She's a powerful ancestral energy, and I speak that you will gain blessings from listening to her story.